Tonight, new photos from Jeffrey Epstein's estate just released, rocking the rich and powerful. The big names who appear with him in those images. The pictures show Epstein with Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Steve Bannon, Woody Allen, and more. The images released by Democrats as part of a congressional investigation. What the photos could reveal and what those captured on camera with the convicted sex offender say about them now. Also tonight, the shocking downfall of Michigan's football coach in court today via Zoom, charged with home invasion, stalking, breaking and entering. What we're learning about the threats he made to the staffer he was having an affair with. Flood emergency, the dire situation out west. People rescued from rooftops, a highway washed out, National Guard troops evacuating neighborhoods. One woman tells us about the moment she woke up to water rushing in. Chaotic fugitive manhunt, dash cam video of a driver fleeing a traffic stop, police using a pit maneuver to stop him when he suddenly runs across a highway. How they eventually tracked him down deep in the woods. The DoorDash driver apparently caught on camera pepper spraying in order. Guess what? Now she's arrested. She says she was trying to attack a spider, why police say that's not possible. Typo trouble will explain why your iPhone's keyboard might be acting up and how you can avoid the headache. Plus, the nasal spray sold nationwide, recalled over mold concerns. What you need to know. Top story starts right now. Good evening. As we come on the air tonight, a new batch of images just released from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, offering a new look at the powerful people the convicted sex offender surrounded himself with. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee releasing nearly 100 images, some never made public until now, including this one showing President Trump from years ago pictured with 6 women whose faces have been redacted. Another image of a younger Trump standing side by side with Epstein speaking to an unknown woman. And this bizarre photo condoms with a drawing of Trump. A reminder, as with all of these images, we have no context behind any of the photos that were in Epstein's possessions. Another photo, this time a mirror selfie between Jeffrey Epstein and longtime Trump ally Steve Bannon. Bannon, who was repeatedly called for all of the Epstein information to be released. Also seen in this photo with Epstein at his desk, but if you look closer, you'll see 2 framed pictures where faces have been blurred out, the one on the right appearing to show a woman lying down. Additional photos show other high-profile men, including Bill Gates, Woody Allen, and Richard Branson. Along with this photo of former President Bill Clinton that appears to be signed by him, showing him with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. We should note that none of these images suggest any wrongdoing. The White House calling out House Democrats, saying they are trying to create a false narrative. But tonight, the countdown is on ahead of next week's deadline for the DOJ to release its Epstein files. The big question, could we learn anything at all new about this case? Ryan Noble starts us off tonight from Capitol Hill.
Tonight, a new trove of photos from the estate of Jeffrey Epstein, revealing more proof of the convicted sex offender's relationship with several powerful men.
These pictures, some of these photos are really disturbing.
These images, part of a tranche of more than 95,000 undated photos, handed over to the House Oversight Committee and released by Democrats. They do not appear to show any illegal activity. One shows Epstein with a younger President Donald Trump and an unidentified woman. Trump also appears in other pictures, without Epstein, but with women whose identities are protected by the committee. Trump has denied knowing anything about Epstein's criminal activity.
He has photos with everybody. I mean, almost, there are hundreds and hundreds of people that have photos with him, so that's no big deal. I know nothing about it.
The committee also releasing this photo of Epstein in a bathtub, and this one, a signed photo of Bill Clinton with Epstein and his partner Ghislaine Maxwell. Clinton has said in the past that he'd wished he'd never met Epstein. There are also new photos of Epstein with one-time Trump ally Steve Bannon, the 2 posing for a mirror selfie. In another of the 2 men, there is a picture on a desk of a woman who appears to be passed out in a bathtub. Other powerful people like billionaires Bill Gates and Richard Branson are in the photos, as is film director Woody Allen. In one picture, Allen and Epstein are on a movie set. Bannon, Gates, Branson, and Allen did not respond to NBC News requests for comment. These photos are separate from the evidence held by the Department of Justice. Congress voted to force the DOJ to release that material a week from today, and congressional leaders are warning the administration better comply.
This is a new law with, criminal implications if they don't follow it.
Ryan Nobles joins us tonight from Capitol Hill. So, Ryan, should we expect more releases like this in the near future?
Yeah, Tom, there should be every expectation that we'll see a steady stream of releases like these, in part because of this exhaustive investigation by members of Congress. They have some 95,000 pictures just in this trove of information they received from the Epstein estate, but they also recently received a bunch of bank documents from the Epstein estate as well, which they plan to release in the near future. That, and along with the information they're expecting from the Department of Justice, means that there will be even more transparency around this Epstein controversy. Tom?
Okay, Ryan Noble's leading us off tonight here on Top Story. Next tonight to the disturbing allegations we first brought you yesterday against the University of Michigan's fired head football coach, Sharon Moore, making his first court appearance today accused of home invasion and stalking. Prosecutors say he terrorized a staffer who just broke up with him. NBC's Shaquille Brewster has the latest.
Tonight, the dramatic downfall.
Mr. Moore, could you state your name, please?
Sharon Moore.
Sharon Moore, just a few days ago, the head coach of one of college football's most prominent programs, today in court on Zoom from jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Prosecutors describing a stunning whirlwind of events starting Monday, when they say an unidentified woman who Moore had been having a years-long intimate relationship with broke up with him.
There continued to be defendant making numerous phone calls and sending numerous texts from that time moving forward that she did not answer, did not respond to, and did not want.
Prosecutors say she told her employers at the University of Michigan, who fired Moore Wednesday for engaging in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. That afternoon, they say Moore barged into her apartment.
Immediately then proceeded to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. The totality of the behavior is highly threatening and highly intimidating. She was terrorized.
Moore is married with 3 children, now charged with felony home invasion and misdemeanor stalking and breaking and entering. His attorney telling the judge he had several mental health evaluations and is not a danger to the public.
My client's 39 years old with 0 prior criminal history.
Tonight, the former coach is out on a $25,000 bond, ordered to wear a GPS tracker and to not contact the alleged victim.
Are we understood on the no contact and no go to, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Tom, Moore did not enter into any plea in today's hearing. He faces up to 5 years behind bars for that felony home invasion charge. His attorney today saying that he had not had time yet to review the police report or any body camera video. He didn't rebut or refute any of the points made by the prosecution, saying that he wanted more time to go through that. And separate from any investigation that we were seeing in the courthouse today, we know that the university says their internal investigation that led to Moore's firing is still ongoing, telling faculty and students, anyone who knew any information, to report it. Back to you.
All right, Shaq Brewster for us. Shaq, thank you. Now to the flood emergency out west. We have new video tonight showing urgent rescues in western Washington state. Camila Bernal and her team are on the ground as rescues are underway right now.
New drone video shows National Guard trucks plowing through the flooded streets. This rescue captured on camera. All of it unfolding in Burlington, Washington, about an hour north of Seattle. Rescue workers coming in on rafts to save this stranded motorist in the city where the entire community was instructed to evacuate. As much as 16 inches of rain hitting western Washington since Monday, with 4 rivers in major flood stages today.
What is it like to see your house like this?
It's devastating.
Monica Mendez and her husband among those who decided to stay. They took these videos this morning as their basement filled with water.
We never thought this was going to happen like this.
The fast-moving water pouring into her home.
You had never seen anything like this?
Nothing. I've been here more than 15 years, and we have never had a flood.
And take a look at the rushing water there behind me. People in this neighborhood say that is normally completely dry. The water here came in so fast in the middle of the night that some of them did not even have time to move their cars.
We're going to be blowing a rescue somewhere.
20 miles north of Burlington, new video shows the Coast Guard hoisting 2 people to safety from atop their home submerged in floodwaters. Tonight, officials warning residents that the threat is not over.
please, please follow those orders from your local officials who know the situation on the ground.
Camila Bernal joins us now live from Mount Vernon, Washington. Camila, we see those devastating images behind you and from your story. Is there any hope tonight for those communities?
It's hard to tell, Tom, because the reality is that the cleanup efforts are going to be long and probably very difficult. When the water came rushing in here this morning, it surprised a lot of people who thought that maybe they did not need to evacuate. So you see this house right here, the one across the street. Also, what we're seeing a lot of is those basements, those first floors completely flooded. That urgency prompted first responders this morning to go door to door, making sure that everyone in this neighborhood was safe. But the reality is that because many chose to evacuate or not to evacuate, they made this situation a lot harder for those first responders who are trying to make sure that this situation remains under control. Yes, it's not raining, but also the fact that the rivers could continue to rise and the fact that the water is coming from the mountain, that is the danger for these communities and for the people who live here, especially knowing that more rain is coming this weekend, Tom.
Okay, Camila Bernal. Camila, thank you. I want to get right to NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, you're tracking a potential snowstorm targeting millions this weekend. Walk us through it.
Yeah, the timing of this is right during the heart of Saturday and Sunday. A lot of us have a lot of items on our to-do list, and we don't need to be dealing with the snow and travel issues, but that is going to be the case for roughly about 50 million of us. Tonight and tomorrow, we watch the snow from Montana breaking out, a narrow strip from areas of South Dakota right through Des Moines, back into central Illinois, kind of parallels areas from like Chicago to St. Louis. Those areas are only getting a little bit, and then heavier snow in the Ohio Valley, and then a little bit in the Northeast. So here's some of our snowfall amounts. Sioux City, 2 to 4. Des Moines, 2 to 4. Notice Chicago, not much, but Pierre to Springfield, those areas will have about 2 to 4 inches. So Indianapolis, one of the higher totals, 4 to 8 for you. So that's enough to cause a lot of problems. Charleston, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, all plowable snows. And Sunday morning is when the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Philly, New York, and Boston gets a little bit of snow. It's not going to be enough time to paralyze, but it'll make things a little difficult. And for many, the first snow of the season.
Yeah, and we're looking at the snow. Let's talk about the cold because it's going to be brutal out there.
Yeah, this is the more dangerous, bigger headline because northern portions of Minnesota and South Dakota, you're under an extreme cold warning, first of the season, and negative 40 wind chills are possible. That's frostbite in 10 minutes on any exposed skin. Cold advisories now issued all the way down into Tennessee. So how cold are we talking for a lot of our big cities? Minneapolis in the negative 20s, Fargo almost negative 30, Green Bay negative 24. The coldest for Chicago and the Ohio Valleys during the day on Sunday. Look at Chicago, negative 20, Detroit, negative 9. The East Coast, it'll be a little bit better, but still not comfortable with wind chills in the teens.
All right, Bill Cairns, we're going to be busy next week with all that weather. We thank you. To Georgia now, where a woman tonight is hospitalized and covered in burns after she was attacked with acid at a popular park in Savannah. This is a horrific story. That attack at the moment appears to be random as well. NBC's Aaron Gilchrist has more on the search, and he spoke with the victim's family members.
Tonight, a Georgia woman suffering horrifying chemical burns after being attacked in a popular Savannah park. Photos from her hospital bed showing bandages around her entire head. We spoke to her son and best friend who've been by her bedside.
I don't know that I'll ever be able to unhear just the terror in her voice.
Police say the attack happened around 8 Wednesday night as Ashley Wasilewski walked through Forsyth Park after a church program.
She felt and could see in a shadow from one of the lamps in the park somebody very close to her, and she turned around and went to push him, and then just in that split second was like, why is he pouring water on me?
Within seconds, Wasilewski's clothing started disintegrating.
She looked down and she could see that her pants were burning off of her.
She was later flown to a burn center in Augusta, the FBI now working to identify that chemical that left her so badly scarred. Savannah's mayor posting this photo of what he calls a person of interest, asking the public to help identify him. Forsyth Park is an iconic tourist attraction.
Forsyth Park,
even featured in films like 1997's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Savannah police now stepping up patrols at parks across the city and saying that based on their initial investigation, the victim does not know her attacker.
We have no evidence that this is part of a larger pattern.
Meanwhile, Wasilewski's friends and family are focused on her mental and physical recovery.
Having someone sneak up behind you at random is going to follow her for a while. I mean, it's going to be hard to deal with, and there's going to be some traumatic response to it.
Aaron Gilchrist joins us tonight from Augusta, just outside that burn center where the victim is being treated. You know, Aaron, people are going to be watching this story and listening to what happened and what the police are saying. I mean, and this is so terrifying because it was a horrific attack, but also because it was completely random. Do they have any leads?
Well, Tom, at this point, it doesn't seem as though they do. The police chief posted on social media late today saying that they had no new information to offer to the public about what happened, making clear that he understood that there's anxiety in the community because this seems to have been such a random attack. We talked to, you saw Connor and Wesley in the piece there, and they said that Ashley didn't see this coming until the man was right up on her, and that she wasn't even able to get a good look at him. So she hasn't been able to provide any sort of a description to police, who are now sharing that photo, hoping that anybody who was in the park, maybe taking pictures of their own on their own, maybe have captured something in the background. So police want to hear from anybody who may have been in the area on Wednesday night. At the same time, it's worth pointing out that Ashley has weeks at least of recovery here. We know that she's going to be in the hospital for a bit longer. She is scheduled to have some skin grafts done as well because of these third-degree burns that she suffered from, Tom. And this is a woman, as I understand it, who is incredibly independent, travels in spaces where she normally feels comfortable being alone, has traveled around the world on her own. And this is an incident that has really left her shaken, Tom.
Yeah, it is so terrible. Okay, Aaron Gilchrist, we thank you for bringing us that story. Now to the new images of the oil tanker the U.S. seized off the Venezuelan coast, headed now to a Texas port. As President Trump was pressed late tonight, will the U.S. go after any other ships? Here's Garrett Haake.
Tonight, new satellite images of that oil tanker seized by the U.S. off the coast of Venezuela, headed to a port in Galveston, Texas, following that dramatic raid by an elite Coast Guard team rappelling onto the ship from helicopters after a federal judge signed a warrant to seize it. The DOJ says the ship was part of an illicit oil shipping network supporting terrorist organizations, transporting sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. And it comes as the Wall Street Journal reports, citing U.S. officials, that, quote, a U.S. special operations team boarded a ship in the Indian Ocean last month and seized military-related articles heading to Iran from China. All while the U.S. is escalating pressure against Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro, following a series of deadly strikes on alleged drug boats. President Trump considering potential strikes on land as part of his war on drug cartels.
It's not only land strikes on Venezuela, it's land strikes on horrible people that are bringing in drugs and killing our people.
While overnight, Maria Corina Machado, Venezuela's opposition leader, praised the Trump administration's moves after she received the Nobel Peace Prize.
President Trump's actions have been decisive to reach the point where we are right now, in which the regime is weaker than ever.
Garrett Haake joins us tonight from the White House. And Garrett, we know late tonight the president was asked about seizing more ships.
Yeah, Tom, and he was intentionally vague in his answer, neither confirming nor denying plans to do so. I think it's a reasonable expectation to think this is a tactic the administration will use again. There are lots of other sanctioned vessels out there, although none, at least as of 2 days ago, that the White House had pursued getting warrants to seize. And if this Wall Street Journal reporting is accurate, and we have every reason to believe it is, you would now have potentially a law enforcement arm of seizing ships and a military arm of seizing ships, all to work on this Iran-Venezuela connections. Now, as for Venezuela's side of all of this, the Maduro regime put out a statement calling this all brazen theft and international piracy. Tom?
All right, a lot of new reporting there, Garrett. We appreciate it. Still ahead on Top Story, the dramatic video of a driver taking off during a traffic stop. Officers using a pit maneuver, you'll see it here, to stop him before he gets away on foot. How they tracked him down. Plus, the DoorDash driver seen spraying pepper spray on a porch. You'll remember this. She's now arrested. Why she claims she had to use the device near her customer's food. And the nasal spray recall during the height of cold season, the products that could contain mold. Stay with us. We're now back with the wild and chaotic police chase involving a fugitive in Florida. What started as a traffic stop turned into a 3-hour manhunt involving a helicopter and a canine unit. The suspect, police now say, is a fugitive wanted for aggravated battery in another country. NBC's George Solis has the video and the story.
Tonight, dramatic video from every angle of an hours-long manhunt for a fugitive in Florida.
Right here.
By car.
Going the wrong way in traffic on 95.
On foot.
Just stole it with it.
and in the air.
Canine engagement.
Newly released video from the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office shows the heart-pounding December 4th pursuit, which unfolded near Jacksonville. The sheriff telling NBC News it began as an attempted traffic stop. Deputies trying to pull over a driver.
Can I have a picture of your ID?
Identified as Tom Llamas for having a very dark tint on his windows and rapidly changing lanes.
He didn't have a driver's license by immediately going to his phone to prove who he was.
But as deputies began to question him, things escalate.
Get all your information while you're back here with me, okay?
Our deputy sheriff asked him to step out of the car, and at that time, he basically took his foot off the gas, accelerated.
He's taking off.
He does a U-turn basically across the grass and goes back into oncoming traffic.
Watch as deputies attempt what's known as a pit maneuver to get Bo off the road, causing the car to crash into the median. Bo at first flees on foot before spotting a van with keys in the ignition, according to authorities.
Right in the middle. So the doors were actually flapping in the back, the side doors were open.
Deputies using stop sticks to puncture the tires, which does immobilize the van.
Get ready for a bail, guys.
From there, a second foot chase ensues, this one through the woods.
Diving into the bushes. We got so close so many times.
Put it right here.
However, the thick vegetation there and the wetlands, it became dark.
A police chopper keeping eyes on the suspect from the air with a heat-seeking camera, helping a canine track their man on the ground.
Very minor injuries to his buttocks where the canine engagement occurred. Besides that, he was very remorseful.
Yeah, you did this, buddy. We got to get you out of here now.
Bo, who is listed as an armed and dangerous Interpol fugitive, has an active warrant out of the Bahamas for aggravated battery. According to the St. Johns Sheriff, he was wanted in Broward County for possession of meth and resisting law enforcement. Tonight, Bo remains in the St. Johns County Jail with no bond. NBC News has reached out to the Public Defender's Office, but has not heard back.
All right, George Solis joins us. George, this is an incredible story. It looks like the suspect might have a complicated legal journey ahead with all these different agencies involved, all these police groups around, really, the U.S. and the Bahamas that want him.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. And again, we did reach out to his public defender. We have not heard back. The sheriff's office telling us he has a hold through Interpol, which means ICE could get involved. And he also has that hold through the Broward County Sheriff's Office. And obviously, whatever charges he's going to face for everything that he did in the St. Johns County. So, yeah, it's definitely a complicated legal road ahead for this particular individual, Tom.
Okay, George Solis, we thank you for bringing it to us. Now, to an update on a story we brought you earlier this week. That DoorDash driver accused of pepper spraying an order has now been arrested. Here's a doorbell camera where you see the woman spray something and then walk away. The unsuspecting customer saying they got sick from eating the meal. For more on this, I want to bring in NBC's Priscilla Thompson. So, Priscilla, walk us through the update here. What does the driver say happened?
Yeah, so this driver has now been identified as Courtney Stevenson. And according to a phone conversation that police say they had with her, she said that she was not actually spraying the food with the pepper spray, but that she saw a spider and that is what she was spraying with the pepper spray. Police say that she told them that she was terrified of spiders. Now, it is unclear why, having placed the food down and taken a photo of it, she did not just run back to her car. But obviously that decision to use that pepper spray has landed her under arrest and in jail facing felony charges.
So police didn't necessarily believe her about the spider story. Why? Explain why.
Yeah, police do not appear to be buying that, and that's because they say it was 35 degrees on the night that this happened, and that in Indiana, spiders are not out under those conditions, and in fact, they aren't crawling on exposed surfaces under those conditions. And so they also said that originally Stevenson had agreed to come in and speak with them in person, but then she later refused, at which point they went ahead and issued an arrest warrant charging her that listed felony charges, 2 felony counts of battery resulting in moderate injury and 2 felony counts of consumer product tampering. And so she was arrested in Kentucky this morning and is being held without bond as she awaits extradition back to Indiana.
We had spoken with the family earlier this week. What else is the couple saying? Anything else?
Yeah, so the couple has not posted on social media reacting to this, but they did post earlier this week saying that they were grateful to all of the outpouring they had received to help bring attention to this case. And my colleague, George Solis, was actually just speaking with the family, and it appears that their lawyer is telling them not to speak to media right now. So the last we heard from them was them thanking folks on social media for helping bring attention to this. And of course, DoorDash has said that this woman has been completely removed from their platform, and the sheriff there saying that they want people to know that their food is safe, and that is why they took this investigation the way it did, and she's now facing those felony charges.
Okay, Priscilla Thompson, we thank you for bringing us that one. Coming up, the shocking video as a driver nearly hits a child exiting a school bus, the charges he now faces. Top stories, top moment. After Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud led the team to a stunning victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, those off the field were eager to congratulate him with a high five. You see Stroud making his way down a line of outstretched hands, but then leaving Texans owner Cal McNair hanging. The awkward moment quickly going viral. Put a video on the team's TikTok account showing McNair eventually getting the last laugh. Take a look.
Thank you.
Oh, that's for CJ.
Chill. That's CJ.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, baby. I've been waiting for that.
We're glad he finally got the high five. Remember, that is his boss. Stay with us. More news on the way. We are back now with Top Stories newsfeed. We're going to start with the fate of a Massachusetts man accused of killing his wife, now in the hands of a jury. Brian Walsh is facing a first-degree murder charge after his wife and the mother of three went missing on New Year's Day 2023. He's pleaded guilty to dismembering her body and misleading police, but is fighting a first-degree murder charge. The defense rested its case yesterday without calling a single witness to the stand. And a popular nasal spray sold nationwide is being recalled due to possible mold contamination. It's called Reboost Nasal Spray, and the FDA says that adverse health problems or life-threatening infections could occur if the product is used by those immunocompromised. Consumers are being advised to immediately stop using it and return the product for a full refund. And startling video capturing a Texas driver nearly hitting a child exiting a school bus. Take a look at this one. So the video shows the moment the driver zooms around the stop bus just as that child was getting off. The child appears to stumble back to avoid getting hit. Austin police say the driver was going nearly 50 miles an hour. That driver was later arrested and faces a felony charge of endangering a child. Next tonight, to the massive Home Depot crime bust. Thieves allegedly targeting stores in 9 states, stuffing merchandise into big bins, then walking right out of the store. The stolen goods totaling more than $2 million. NBC New York reporter Andrew Siff has the details.
Prosecutors say in-store surveillance cameras reveal the scheme at work. Suspects taking items off the shelves at Home Depot, placing them in a large bin, and nonchalantly pushing those bins out of the store without paying.
The largest and most brazen retail theft crew that we have ever prosecuted.
Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz today standing with Governor Hochul in front of some of the evidence seized, including power drills, tape measures, and other household items. Investigators are calling it Operation Self-Checkout. 319 separate thefts at 128 Home Depot stores in 9 states, with $2.2 million in merchandise stolen. Much of it as everyday shoppers watched in disbelief.
When you're standing on that line watching people walk out the door without paying the bill, to you, crime's at 100%.
Governor Hochul said the real victims are honest shoppers who pay the price as their items get marked up.
There are people spending every waking hour trying to figure out how to rip off other people. And the result is your prices are higher than they ever should have been.
Investigators tell us 13 people have been arrested so far, including alleged ringleader Armando Diaz, who's charged with grand larceny.
These suspects had no regard for the law or the businesses they stole from.
The alleged thieves would meet in this parking lot near Queens Center Mall at 5 a.m. every day. Investigators say even though this alleged retail theft ring was based in Queens, they would hit the road almost every day.
So this is how it went. The evening before, they would look online to see what to steal and which Home Depot to steal from.
State police say the thieves brought the stolen goods back to the city each day, stored in a warehouse or apartment before getting resold online.
You do the crime, you do the time. They must have been very ingenious, but I'm glad it's been busted.
Andrew Siff, NBC New York.
Coming up next, is it you or is it your iPhone? Why some users are saying the new iOS is the reason they're making new typos, and what AI may have to do with it. Plus, marking 100 years of the Rockettes, 3 generations of the famed New York City dancers come together to kick it as they celebrate their centennial. Stay with us. We're back now with the autocorrect breakdown. Have you felt recently that instead of fixing your typing mistakes, your iPhone's autocorrect is making your spelling worse? Well, you're not alone. And NBC's Stephen Romo has a closer look at the tech that could be behind these errors.
It happens more often than we'd like. Misspelling a word while trying to type on those tiny phone keyboards. Thankfully, your phone has autocorrect.
Was there an update to the iPhone that stopped autocorrecting?
But some online say it doesn't work like it used to on iPhones with the latest operating systems.
Autocorrect has been absolutely diabolical here recently.
Complaints popping up on social media since Apple debuted its latest operating system, iOS 26, in September.
On what planet are we going to be saying well done instead of well done?
We asked Washington Post tech reporter Garrett DeVink what's going on.
It's interesting because I feel like we're always sort of complaining about autocorrect.
Does this happen pretty much every time there's an update?
The autocorrect may even be updated more often than the actual iOS being updated. I do think that we can say that there is something new going on here, which is that Apple, just like every other major technology company, is frantically trying to use, these newer versions of AI, the kind of AI that goes into products like ChatGPT, large language models.
Apple first introduced a big change to autocorrect in 2023 for iOS 17.
Autocorrect is powered by on-device machine learning, and over the years, we've continued to advance these models.
Using an AI-based architecture, they say it's better than ever at figuring out what you really mean.
And in those moments where you just want to type a ducking word, well, the keyboard will learn it too.
But complaints about autocorrection?
How innovative! I like it!
As old as the tech itself.
Take a memo on your Newton. Beat up Martin.
But as far as more recent complaints about Apple's tech,
has anyone noticed that the autocorrect on the Apple phones are just not really autocorrecting anymore?
Apple has not responded to NBC's request for comment, and the company has remained tight-lipped about what, if anything, has changed about autocorrect on its latest operating system.
I think it just goes to show that, these technology companies, especially in this age of AI, they are changing their products. They're using AI more and more. They're using new kinds of AI. And we often don't actually know what's going on in that black box. And we see it sort of, crop up in our lives in these unexpected and sometimes frustrating ways.
Stephen Romo joins us now on set. So, Stephen, I am part of this sort of group of people that just cannot stand the autocorrect sometimes. So is there any way to get over it?
Yeah, just full disclosure, I would never turn this feature off because my spelling is so atrocious at this point. I'm fine with my mistakes way more than I am trying to deal with this. But if you do want to turn that off, you just go to your settings, scroll down to General. This is for an iPhone, of course. And then you want to look for Keyboard. Click on that and then simply turn off autocorrection and also predictive text. The experts recommend turning off predictive text as well because that'll often pop up a word, maybe not the one you're intending, as it tries to guess what you're going to say. I will also say, though, experts think that these phones are now, they're learning more about us using AI, what words we're trying to say, like it learns how to spell, like maybe the name. My nieces and nephews, some of them have original names. They learn over time. So
when you say original, like what are we talking about? Like Starlight Kisser or something?
I've got Italy as my youngest.
Italy?
Yes, Italy.
Like Italy with an S?
Exactly, yeah, an S in there, yeah. So to learn those, it gets hard to just retype them over time. But if you leave these features on, eventually your phone's going to learn, according to these experts. Some people, though, they don't want to deal with it. They'll just turn those off instead of dealing with the frustration. So much like your situation.
Yeah, I think the auto suggestion one, that's the one that I think is throwing me off a little bit.
That's the predictive text.
Predictive text, right? That's a tough one.
That one off.
All right, Romo, always great to see you. Thank you for that. Radio City Rockettes celebrating 100 years. Congratulations to them. As the iconic dancers put on their annual Christmas Spectacular, former members are joining the kick line for an extra special show. NBC's Joe Fryer sits down with 3 generations of Rockettes to reflect on the incredible milestone.
You could say the Rockettes are on their own Eras tour inside Radio City Music Hall. The kick line is celebrating 100 years, so we brought together 3 eras: Kayla Sue, Lynn Sullivan, and Jean Martin.
What is it like to be back here and to be on this stage?
I love it.
I am flooded with memories.
I'm honestly fangirling myself, just being with you 2 amazing women.
Jean joined the Rockettes in the early 1950s. Today, at age 93, she still teaches tap dancing.
It's fair to say the Rockettes gave you a lot, right?
Oh, yes. And dancing is still the best part of my life.
As a Rockette, she met her husband, a violinist in the orchestra, and her best friend, Joan.
I miss her a lot because we were like this.
Joan was Lynn's mom.
And I remember being a child and looking up at these women that just seemed so glamorous. And I thought, so someday maybe I will be a Rockette.
That dream came true for Lynn and her sister Leanne, who were among the many Rockette veterans filling the audience this year on opening night of the Christmas Spectacular. And Kayla was on that stage.
I was looking out into the audience, seeing all of you incredible women who have paved the way for me to be up there, standing up, cheering. I just broke down while I was kicking.
What endures for so many is that sense of sisterhood, even when the sister is your late mom.
I have to imagine you've been thinking about your mom?
Yes, my mother would love this. It's just part of who we are, my family. And I think she's with us right now.
Part of a century-long legacy of high kicks and deep roots. Joe Fryer, NBC News.
That does it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching Top Story. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.